Early childhood development is where you get the best bang for your buck as a social investor. Investing in children's early childhood development, you could go right back to from conception in the womb in the first 1,000 days up to age 2. That's crucial that we are supporting the health of the mother and the health of the child up to the first 2 years of life. But when it comes to the educational component, really we are looking at early childhood development, as people refer to it, ECD, be it creche or kindergarten, some would say. Those are preparing children for school, but also preparing them for life. And I think one of the crucial things to look out for is, are we helping children to embrace their curiosity? I think as a social investor, one of the things you can look out for is, are children remaining curious? Because that curiosity will only but serve them well in life. It'll drive them to want to read, because they're curious about what are these scribbles saying. And once they can read, they'll be curious to find the answers to things, and they can go find the answers themselves once they can read. And that curiosity will drive science. It'll drive interest in maths and biology and the things that, the skills that our economy needs. So investing in children's curiosity, I think, is the best bang for buck. But I think they're looking at that landscape, of the education landscape. I think a social investor should be looking at some of the demographics just to get a better idea of where the touch points are, where the points of leverage are in the system. We know that about 1.2 million children are born a year in South Africa, roughly. And about 1.2 million children enter into grade 1. So that seems to equate. Of course, there's a lag time. You've got to wait 6-7 years from the child's born before they get to grade 1. But roughly, and our population growth is only marginally there, so it kind of does figure that we should have roughly equal numbers. 94% of 10 and 11-year-olds have passed grade 3. That's an interesting statistic, because you can read that as well with the statistic which says that only 3 out of 4 of them are able to read for meaning. So we've got two stats there. The one's telling us that our education system, including the early childhood development, is much improved than where it was 20 years ago, when only 78% of 11-year-olds had passed grade 3. So that's up to 94%. So we've made some good improvements there. The kind of pass, the quality of the pass, is what we need to focus on, and there's a lot of focus. Many of Chikululu's clients are focusing on that foundation phase, grade 1, 2, 3, to help make sure that we get grade 4s who are able to read by themselves for meaning. Switch the statistic from only 1 in 4 reading for meaning to 3 in 4 reading for meaning in the next few years. The number of 16-year-olds who have passed grade 9 drops to the 70% level, 75, 76% in the country. So the grade 3 and grade 9 are two important milestones on the trajectory. Children are losing out on attaining a grade 9 qualification. And that is actually quite a profoundly important milestone, because our education system, by design, though not in practice, by design is supposed to enable children at the grade 9 point to decide on an academic or a vocational or an occupational trajectory. So you can, from grade 9, go straight to TVET. But most schools will keep you in grade 9 and try and get you to go to matric before you go to TVET. But by design, you should be able to, with a grade 9, start at TVET. And so there's a lot of work we still need to do around the grade 9 point, milestone, and developing those pipelines for children so that they have viable options at the end of grade 9 to go into TVET and become a plumber and charge the same rate per hour as most chartered accountants do. I mean, the last time I called a plumber, I was horrified by how much they charge. But yeah, to have an apprenticeship and a skill like that, and our country needs skilled people who are skilled in building and repairing and fixing and inventing. If we can create real opportunities for children, learners in grade 9, more than just the matric trajectory. We are getting about 650, so that's almost half, just over half of our 1.2 million children every year. 650 are passing matric, about 650,000. About 250,000 of them are passing with mathematics. 340,000, these are all stats, but you see the numbers are reducing. 340,000 are getting into university every year, and every year about 200,000 students graduate from university. So from 1.2 million being born every year, 2.2 million are graduating with higher education qualifications. The National Development Plan has as a target that we should have about 25% of our population with higher education, post-school qualification. We're sitting on about 15 to 16% at the moment. So we're getting there. It's way better than it was. It used to be like 7%. But we've got some ways to go to get to the 25%. As a social investor, you're spoiled for choice of where you can invest. Right now, the focus is on the foundation phase. We can see the matric engine is now working. It's humming. There is a lot of focus going towards making university accessible with bursaries and wraparound support, etc., and programs like that. Easy to get BE points as well to support skills development in that way. So there's a lot of emphasis going on supporting post-school education training through universities and University of Technology. The area within the education landscape that social investors, I think, should be beginning to focus a lot more on is that grade 9 moment and making sure that learners have opportunities that are real and supportive for them to follow vocational training trajectories as well as the academic. But even if it's just to get that grade 9 moment, make sure more learners are passing grade 9. We used to be called a JC, a junior certificate. Perhaps that's something we could be looking to bring back again, that you get your JC and then you really have a choice to say, do I go an academic track and go for my national senior certificate, the matric, or do I go for the NCV, which is a national vocational certificate? In theory, it should be there, but on the ground, are there schools, are there colleges that are equipped and resourced to make that a viable and real option for learners? Our number of university graduates is almost 3 times as many as the vocational qualifications. That's inverse to many industrialized countries, particularly, for example, in Germany, where it's the other way around, where a majority of people have a vocational certificate and the minority have a more kind of academic university qualification. I think that is where a progressive social investor could be focusing their attention now, is how do we help make the vocational track from grade 9 a viable, meaningful option for learners going forward.